Talk at the table, as we mentioned earlier, the controversial film The Interview will now be shown in theaters after all. Sony announcing a limited release online and at a handful of cinemas. So here's the question. Not if you're going to go see The Interview. Most critics say it's not that good a film, and you guys have better taste than that. But if The Interview was showing at a multiplex, given the threats that are against it, would you think twice about seeing any movie in that multiplex, especially tomorrow, a big night at the movie theater? Richard St. Paul.
I'm not concerned about security at a movie theater over The Interview. What are you going to bomb a million movie theaters across America? I'm not concerned. And another thing, I would not go see the movie. I would not give Sony $1 for the way they handled this situation.
That's a good point.
All right. Mark?
Well, this is the Chris Rock thing, all the flack he got for making the joke about the building downtown. I think it will cross people's minds. I think most people would be, given the shooting in the Colorado theater, less than honest if they were to say it didn't cross their mind. All of that said, it wouldn't deter me from seeing it if it were a movie I wanted to see.
Dominic?
Would I go see it?
No. Would you see another movie playing at the theater right next to the one that's playing The Interview?
Star Wars.
The
Why
Interview's
not?
at the 14-plex, and you
but-
want to go
because-
see another movie.
Because of possible
Yeah,
terrorism?
would you be worried at all about it? Would it make you think twice?
I think I should hire you as my lawyer because that was a good answer. Of course, I would have no problem going to see it. I wouldn't waste my time seeing this garbage, but I wouldn't have excuse me, seeing,
not talking about this
seeing
garbage.
the
No,
interview.
that's exactly what you should be saying.
But I would have no problem seeing another movie in the same theater.
All right, let's move on then. An early Christmas present or a late Hanukkah present from Wall Street. The Dow closing at 18,030 today, yet another record high. The other major markets are at near highs. Add to that unemployment at 5.8%, the lowest level since July of 2008. And gas prices that are around the $2 mark in places, and the economy seems to be booming. So why isn't anybody talking about the economy right now, Mark?
Because it's not sexy and it's not bad news. I mean, Obama's had a very, very rough 6 years. I've read pieces that say now finally the emergence of the president that we've been waiting for. The economy is turning, maybe because of him, maybe not because of him. But nobody talks about this because it's good news and the country's getting better, which is why there's this dissonance between what's going on the street and what's reported on the one hand and what's actually happening in the country, which makes the protests all the more difficult to fathom, I think.
I think if you're the average person, look, Gallup just had a recent poll. 46% of the Americans polled think that the economy is getting better. 50+% think that it's getting worse. The average American is not feeling that the economy is getting better. Now, investors are screaming and loving this, and things are getting better for them. But for the average American, things are not getting better.
But what about the gas prices?
this is a
They're down.
paper-
I mean,
But the gas prices are a response to Iran, and
understand.
that's because it makes it more. It hurts Iran more if gas prices go down, like Saudi Arabia is lowering gas prices. That's strategic. That has nothing to do because the Saudi Arabians feel very good that the American economy is great and we want to lower
right,
gas
but
prices.
that
That's all
touches the
strategic.
average person.
It does.
Let those gas prices keep coming down, whether it's for Iran or whatever, and Americans will give Mr. Obama credit. Let's face it. Why is it with President Clinton, nobody, except for sensational media, nobody really cared about Monica Lewinsky? Think about this for a second, because the country
economy's
felt
good.
good. Right. Nobody really cared about this
It's how you
intern.
end, not how you start or not the middle. If this keeps going the way it is, his legacy will look very different.
The economy is still very fragile, though. Don't get me wrong. We have a little bit of growth. I think it was last time it was 4%, which is much better than a negative 2.1. But it's still very fragile. So anything could happen to affect this economy. And the Feds have been very slow to raise interest rates also.
And to your earlier point, is this a full-fledged recovery, or is this just a recovery for lack of a better phrase, the 1%, or for the CEO class or the people who own stocks?
Well, to answer my own question before, that's what may be driving the anger, the discrepancy between the people at the very top and the people on the very bottom who aren't feeling it and aren't feeling that it's rebounding.
You know, Dominic, the president really has not trumpeted the economy all that well. It's one of those things where he mentions it in every speech he gives, but it's sort of like the third item, and it's then he moves on to whatever he was calling the press conference about in the first place. Is this a messaging problem, or is this
It's a messaging problem. Remember, this is the same administration that when it came to the computers for health care, we remember that debacle. Let's keep that in mind. So let the gas prices keep doing what they're doing, and things will turn around for this president.
The other thing, the president's not that he's had any major policy that's affected the economy. And in fact, he hasn't really pushed anything, and I think that type of conservatism has not
know about that.
hurt the economy.
No,
there's no major policy that he's pushed.
I'm not even going to bring up the stimulus, even though I just did. But his push actually.
I don't think that had anything to do with
his push
where we
for
are now.
natural gas. He has been He has been a supporter of natural gas exploration, including fracking, more so than New York State has been. And that certainly put pressure on gas prices to come down.
Pipeline, where's that?
Yeah, but that's not going to lower prices.
That creates 100,000 jobs, which hurts the economy.
No, it doesn't.
The economy functions on its own, and presidents get too much credit when it rebounds and too much blame when it's in the tank.
Clearly.
The bottom line is if it gets better under his stewardship, he's going to get the credit for it, and rightly so.
All right, we got two lawyers on the panel, and Dominic, who plays a lawyer anytime he's given the chance to, so you can represent me anytime. Right? So come to this question. Should review sites like TripAdvisor or Yelp be liable for false reviews? The Italian government has hit the website TripAdvisor with a $600,000 fine for not doing enough to protect the integrity of its review system. Hotel operators complained about defamatory reviews posted by people who did not stay at the hotels they reviewed. Other complaints have arisen about business owners using false names to review themselves well. Now, for the record, TripAdvisor bills its reviews as being authentic and genuine. And if you're going to host a platform for people to give unvarnished opinions, are you then responsible if people game that system, Richard, and either put hurtful or helpful reviews to make their points?
Can we say extortion? I mean, this is ridiculous. Here's a form that is provided to, I go to TripAdvisor, it's free. Here's a form that's provided for people like myself who are traveling to different venues to understand whether or not this is a good place to go. And there's all types of disclaimers on there, so no, I mean, it's at your own peril. Believe in it at your own peril. But if you review 300 comments, you get a gist of whether this is a good place or not. You just don't review one comment.
Should sites like that have to come up with a way to try to weed out false reviews? Well,
it's happening now with Airbnb. I mean, we have the state attorney general conducting what are now civil investigations into alleged widespread fraud on the Airbnb site. It's an open question whether it's going to go criminal or not, and I think it has to do with the knowledge and culpability of the people who own the site and whether funds are actually lost as a result of the site. It's one thing for a site like TripAdvisor, which, it's not making money off the reviews.
But if a hotel says they're losing business as a result of TripAdvisor not doing enough to weed out false reviews,
they have a right to respond to the reviews on the site, and they often do that.
Caveat emptor, buyer beware. If you're going on TripAdvisor, it's a free site. Buyer beware. Use it at your own risk.
To be fair, the Airbnb thing is basically a tax problem. So money is being taken away from state coffers in that instance. This is just pure speech, and the answer to allegedly inaccurate speech is more accurate speech, not government regulation.
So at what point?
That's well said.
What's that?
That's well said.
So at what point does a website have to take responsibility for the things that people post on?
When it's serving as a middleman to transfer money between parties, it has an obligation to weed out fraud on the site, or where the site is being used to perpetrate a fraud against consumers or against the state in terms of tax revenue, then it has to scrutinize the speech.
Or when it
more closely.
advertises something and it's advertised falsely.
Yeah.
Couldn't you make the argument, though, if a Yelp or a TripAdvisor allows a hotel to come on their site and say how wonderful the site is?
Well, keep in mind,
isn't that an advertisement?
Andy, that Europe has a very different view of the internet and search aggregators than we do.
They have free speech.
Yes, they do, and now they can compel Google in Europe to take down negative reviews about people.
So I take it I'm the only one at the table that's never used either one of those websites.
No, I've used it.
I take it I'm the only one that has not. Is that correct?
I guess so.
Because I don't understand. I mean, I know what the debate is.
We don't all travel
vacations.
first class like you do, Dom. It's not.
I've never used either one. I mean, people are really going to make a decision based on what?
TripAdvisor is a significant site. Because it posts reviews from people who've been there.
Would you make a decision based on that?
I do use it. Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
Would you make a decision?
A place that I've never been.
I have. And like Richard says, if there's something on there that's repeated 300 times from 300 different reviewers, that's probably a problem.
Okay, but Andrew, but if we own one of the hotels, aren't we going to stack the deck and have our friends write positive reviews? I mean,
they do that too.
How could you believe this nonsense?
But should you be able to do that? Should the website have to
Should
the website have to be able to filter those out?
No, it's not going to do it unless it's a paid service. Because you're asking a website to go through hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of comments. If it's a paid site, then yes. But since it's a free form and freedom of speech rules, no, they shouldn't have any responsibility.
You know what I want to say? I want to say I love you, man. Merry Christmas. That's what I want to say.
love you
I don't
too.
want to
That
talk
was
about no
nice.
website. I want to talk about Christmas and everybody having a great day and the city being united. Who cares about TripAdvisor? What's the other one?
Yelp.
Expedia,
Yelp.
Yelp.
Yeah, whatever.
Angie's
I
List
love
has
you,
had all
man.
of them.
This segment sponsored by. Oh no. It's
Airbnb, right?
And to the crew, all the folks that make us
Yeah,
look
yeah,
good, you know, doing the impossible
I
every
second
night.
all of that.
absolutely. And at this point, I got it. Mark, thank you very much for being here. Richard, Dominic,
I don't get I love you, man.
I said it. You were too busy talking to hear
Can
me
I
say
hear?
I love you.
I know he didn't say it.
Normally
I know he didn't say it. Can I get an I love you, man?
He's got 2 tickets.
I
to
love
the
you.
I love you.
I
man.
love you. I love
He's
you.
got 2 tickets to the interview for you. So.
At a theater with no security.
Right.
Merry,
He really loves you.
guys, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. It's been terrific. We're gonna take a quick break. Well, of course, it's because I love you, man. That's why I'm blushing. I'm
really
next,
awkward.
and I'm
We should
sweating.
cut to-
Can we go to a commercial?
What's
We're gonna
your
take a
name?
sneak
Talk
peek
about
at our special State of Faith, which airs Friday and focuses on the state of religion in today's society. That's next when RFL continues. Thanks, Dominic.